demonstrated. Obviously, in this instance, there is a dispute between the South African government and the United States government. I think we are all aware of that. And obviously, right now, it seems as if Afriforum has a more sympathetic ear with the United States government. And also, I must add that even though with regards to the factual basis of the dispute between the Afriforum and South African government, I've already said that Afriforum is on the wrong here, and I've already said that the United States of America, bless their heart, they've been misinformed. However, Afriforum has spent the past 15 years building relationships in Washington. I would even say the past 20 years. They've spent millions of dollars building relationships. This is why in the video that I made before, I said I encourage the South African government to focus its efforts not on official diplomatic measures, but on lobbying, relationship building. This is not a quick fix. This is a long-term project. And because someone who has taken time to lobby policymakers, influential leaders of both parties about an issue, even though they are wrong, as Afriforum is wrong on this issue, will have an ear of the sitting president of the United States. And I'm pretty certain that when these guys were in the White House 2 days ago, I don't think they met the president. It's very unlikely that they met the president. It's even unlikely they even met with the chief of staff, but they met with some senior advisors of the president. But because there are people who are calling the administration on their behalf and saying, here are these guys, vouching for them, asking them, please meet with them. People who are trusted by the administration, lawmakers, long-serving lawmakers, and probably of both parties. It's not just that it's Elon Musk who's convincing President Trump in error that the South African government is mistreating white South Africans. No, it's not just Elon Musk. I'm pretty certain that it's a several number of the president's advisors who are saying to the president, here are these guys, they are being mistreated, please listen to them, give them 5 minutes, look at their case, please take care of them, please do A, B, and C for them. And that's not because these guys have an embassy in Washington or a consulate general in Houston. No, they don't. They just have relationships. And that's not just also through lawmakers, also through the conservative ecosystem in the United States, like how they were able to be on Tucker Carlson on Fox News a few years ago. These guys have deep and extensive relationships within the conservative movement in the United States. And even though they are spreading poison about South Africa in the United States, who is counteracting that poison? It's surely not South African government. While you are busy virtue signaling on Twitter or on Facebook or on the news, you are not building relationships with people. The South African government, not just South Africa needs to make up its mind. Do you want a relationship with the United States of America? Yes or no? If you want a relationship with the United States of America, a mutually beneficial relationship, a symbiotic relationship, a reciprocate, that one. Reciprocate, that one, yes. That kind of relationship. If you want that relationship to happen, you need to change how you do things. You really need to change how to do things. And this issue of being angry on TV and making and sending the comments on Facebook, on Twitter, on wherever you are, and having the EFF making reckless statements and black South Africans pontificating about how the US is the imperialist now and whatnot. Guys, can we just cut the crap? Especially if you want a relationship with the United States. There are certain aspects of American foreign policy that are certainly won't be compatible with South African foreign policy, like case in point on the issue of Russia. And I'm pretty sure that the United States is very upset about that, because South Africa is very influential in Africa and in the global South. And I'm pretty certain that also is playing a part in terms of certain attitudes that are prevailing in Capitol Hill towards South Africa. Because remember, there were quite a few lawmakers last year who suggested that South Africa be kicked out of the AGOA trade agreement, that South Africa be treated in some other type of way. Because there is a certain dissatisfaction with regards to certain foreign policy stances that South Africa has taken. But that's inevitable. But my question for me is that, where is your presence in lobbying so that where South Africa and the United States can agree on, we can actually agree and collaborate, where there won't be any unnecessary conflict and animosity between us. And the obvious example of unnecessary conflict and animosity between us is this issue of that South Africa is mistreating white South Africans, which is it's not true. Everybody knows that it's not true. But the people who are in the United States, more than 4,000, 6,000 kilometers away from South Africa, do not know that. And there has to be a process, a methodical process of persuading people in terms of the reality of what's actually happening in South Africa. And that's not going to happen through insults and unwise utterances. You know, emotional outbursts may serve a certain short-term purpose, but they tend to be more harmful in the long term for the person who is having that temporary emotional release. So we need people who are wise. We need people who are going to look at the long view. We need people does South Africa need the United States of America, yes or no? And the answer is yes. If China, which someone could say that is now a declared enemy of the United States of America, which we are not, is not in any way trying to dissociate itself from the United States, and even with all of the disagreements, major and real disagreements, and some of them that can't be solved between the US and China. If China insists that it has to do trade with the US, it has to have exchanges with the US, technological exchanges, cultural exchanges, all kinds of things. The US selling stuff to China, China selling stuff to the United States, to have this symbiotic relationship. What makes South Africans think that they have such a small economy? They can just say fuck you to the United States. Guys, come on, guys, be reasonable. The South African economy is so small. It is smaller than the Texas economy. That's how small the South African economy is. Not only is it smaller than the Texas economy, it is more than 4 times smaller than the Texas economy. So really, what basis do you have in terms of trying to be saying fuck you to the United States? Guys, let's be reasonable. I'm not saying that just become a bitch and lie down and say, okay, you can fuck me. No, I'm just saying be reasonable. There are many opportunities for South Africa and the United States to collaborate, to work together, to be partners, to be friends. There's a long history of friendship between our nations. And I was just going to let this bunch of idiots Afriforum to to spoil that, guys. No, please. And so for me, my message is for South Africans to say, guys, can you please may cool heads prevail, and can you approach this thing with wisdom and with foresight? That's really for me what my thoughts are on this. Yeah. With that being said, and I'd like to hear your thoughts, guys. Hit me up below, comment sections with your thoughts.